Let's dive into the flip side of that coin, calculating risk. This is where the rubber meets the road, the business growth. Let's break it down to what it means in our world of microgreens. Risks are inherited in any business, but in the world of microgreens, it's not about taking wild chances. It's about making informed decisions where you're taking your business and understanding the potential upsides and downsides of every decision. This could mean experimenting with a new growing technique, like we talked about, that might increase yield, but doesn't require an upfront investment. It's about knowing your numbers and understanding your market, making decisions that are bold but grounded in reality. Don't get crazy. Now, expanding into a new market or distributing channel can feel like a step into the unknown territory. Yes, it is a risk, but it can also open new doors that's sniffling growth in your business. Maybe it's exploring a new area further than your current delivery radius, just expanding that just a little bit to go after stuff, or tapping into the restaurant industry. If you're just done home deliveries or you're just done grocery stores, now maybe you're going to open up restaurants within that same delivery area. That's a whole new experiment there and going after something different. These requires moves that are due diligence. You need to understand the new market, the competition, and how the products fit in. But if you can get in it right, you're just not growing microgreens, you're growing a business exponentially. Andy, how are you looking to expand your business going forward?
Yeah, so I mean, once we get out of here, our plan is to actually really start tackling distributors as best we can. I have a stack of business cards, and part of that, unfortunately, is going to be getting GAP certified, which we haven't done yet. We're in the process of doing it, so we're almost done, thankfully. But for the most part, you're going to want that if you're approaching those places. But they're major. I mean, you're talking huge amount of stuff you're adding almost overnight. The expense is really high because obviously you got to buy all the products that you need to be able to actually grow for them, the trays, the racks, the lights, everything else. So it's definitely a big expense up front. And like Mike said earlier, it can take 5, 6, 8 months before you're finally actually making your first sale to those guys. By the time you go through the paperwork process, the compliance process, everything else, it's insane. But it's worth it if you can get that far, because they're huge accounts usually. If you're willing to take that chance. The downside is they're also huge accounts. You can potentially lose, huge amount of money overnight if they decide to go with somebody else. So just some things to think about. So that's where you have to be in that risk assessment world is like,
Yep.
If you're going strictly after your distributors right from the get-go and you're going to spend 6 months trying to land one, and then they may pay, let's say, $60,000 a year roughly. If you're spending $10,000 up front to buy the equipment you need, now you're out 6 months worth of your time and you're out 10 grand up front before you even get paid at all. And then you're taking the chance that they're just going to say, "Oh, I found somebody else," and they're going to drop you. They're not worried about the personality and the relationship as much as they are their bottom line. So if somebody comes in cheaper, there's a good chance they're going to take them out.
Yep.
So just one thing to keep in mind. It's a big, huge risk. So that's where you have to really understand if that's going to be worth your time or not. But yeah, that's our plan. I mean, we have enough base business to where if we lose one or gain one, it isn't going to it'll make a huge difference, but it's not the end of the world. So we make sure we do that carefully. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's our plan. And then obviously farm flow, is a big piece of our expansion going forward too. It's just another, potential revenue streams, and obviously people get to use it. So, and I'm hoping as a result of people using it, then the whole industry will get lifted up and
Yeah.
be better and be more accurate and be, doing cleaner, just general food safety practices with all the stuff, the tools that are in there, and just people aren't running out of supplies. And just that's the idea, is just to have a lot better microgreen growers as a whole. And this can definitely help you do that.
Yes.
So that's kind of our big pieces going forward is the gap, the distribution, and getting farm flow even further along, and the
Perfect.
little soil press thing.
Yeah. All the little things. All the little
Yeah,
things.
it's a minor project, but it'll be fun.
For us, it's just getting started working with the large food distributor that we talked about earlier, as well as the local food purchasing grant that's going on in our area. These
Yeah,
are our two new biggest steps that we're going to continue to grow our business. And we know that the grant ones are going to run out in 2 years. So knowing that ahead of time, how long that business is going to last, it's going to be 2 years. So we're going to grow our business based off of the fact that ends in 2 years. Hopefully, maybe they come up with it and it continues, but knowing it's going to end in 2 years, so you just don't want to count on that money going forever. Use it to build the business, buy more stuff, be ready for more distributors, and then you start talking to the distributors 6 months ahead of all that stuff ending, and get them in there to take over that business that you're going to lose. So this forethought of the business, don't wait till something ends, knowing it's going to end, and then try to change and get more business, because you're going to be in trouble. Because at that point, obviously, we're going to have multiple employees, might have a million employees as Andy at that point with all the business going on. What do you do with them after 2 years? You just don't want to fire them because you don't have something. So you always want to be able to get new business to be able to keep them employees employed, and adding on more people, giving people really good jobs going down the road is one of our biggest goals as well. So I'm sure Andy worries about that all the time, like with his businesses. You got to worry about feeding their families as well. So
I mean, and one of them's my daughter. I mean, if we, I definitely don't want to fire her, then she's out of job, and that'd be really bad. So it's I definitely, it's always on my mind that I make sure my 2 full-timers get full-time hours no matter what, even if that means I'm not even here at all for the whole week. If it comes down to it, if we have like a really slow week for whatever reason, if a large account cancels or something, then I want to make sure they still got time, because ultimately their time is worth, being here, because they're helping me get further along in the business. So if I lose one or both of them, I would be working here crazy amount of hours every single week, so it would get real nuts real quick. So I gotta make sure that I keep them happy for obvious reasons, because I want them to stay, because they're incredibly valuable to our business for sure.
Yeah, and as you bring on new business, you want to have them experienced workers in there to be able to handle on that new business as you bring new people on too. You don't want to be training a whole new staff when you got new business.
I mean, it's training people from start to finish. It's a good 3 to 6 months before they really get good. Really get good at harvesting, really get good at not cutting themselves, with knives during harvesting, packaging, planting. I mean, there's so many little things that you don't have to, you don't even think about. Even watering, it takes a bit for them to learn all those things.
Let's talk about marketing traditional methods as they have their place, but sometimes you need to shake things up a bit. We're talking about guerrilla marketing, social media campaigns, or even community events. These strategies can be a gamble, but with the creativity and proper execution, they can pay off big in your brand visibility. Customer engagement can be huge. Remember, in marketing, sometimes the riskiest move is to play it safe. Andy, I know you've done a great participating in community events. How have these affected your business?
Yeah, so they've been good. I actually just did one maybe 2 weeks ago, and the place, it's a large company. They have like maybe 800 to 900 employees, and it's an event that was just for their employees. They were required to go, so we got to talk to almost everybody. And apparently we got really good feedback. So the person who actually ran that event reached out to us this week. I think it was like last Friday or Thursday. And they want us to actually come in and do a private, presentation for their employees, which is awesome. So I'm going to obviously talk to her and be like, hey, I'd love to get some kind of a company-based, subscription set up for these guys, and, maybe give them a discount to get started or something like that. And then I can deliver to one place and potentially have hundreds of employees, buying all those products all at once. And maybe even get the business to actually sponsor them eating it, or do some kind of weight loss challenge, or, all kinds of ideas come into my head where I want to try and make that work. So now I've just got to work with that lady and, try and get it set up and get in there. So I think it'd be a really cool event to be part of. But yeah, I mean, and I would have never had that opportunity had I not decided to do this one day event that I thought, well, this could work or couldn't work. So that's it. You just never know. I mean, every opportunity you get out there and talk to people about what you do, and especially in your community where they have, it's customers that are going to buy from you because they live right there. Do it. I mean, talk at libraries, talk at farm events, whatever you can do. We talk to colleges, schools, all over the place. So yeah, we try and be very proactive with that.
Sure. Yeah. Get out in the community. It can be as simple as going to a grocery store that you're already in, spend the afternoon over there sampling. This small amount of time can be a huge impact on your long-term sales at that location. We just did this past weekend, Saturday. So yesterday. Feels like it was longer ago than that, but it was yesterday that we sampled there, and we were standing right across from our products where we were sampling, and people, I would say 80% of the people that came up and sampled was like, where's these at? They didn't know they were there because they're down in a well at that store, unfortunately. And so we had to point them down to where they're at, and they seen them, and like almost everybody that sampled went over and bought. I think maybe one person didn't go by, but she was still shopping when we left, so she probably came back around and bought. I think she likes it as a hangout time at the grocery store, talking to all the employees and everything. But that's huge. Now, them 10, 20 people that bought that day, them are probably going to be residual customers coming back every 2 weeks or so to buy. And if you go back and sample again, you get that more. Like that just builds up sales over time. So it can be huge going out and sampling. If you can, and almost every grocery store, if you say, hey, I want to come sample our product, they're probably not going to say no. Everybody, they say, yeah, Saturday's a good day to come, 11 to 2, be here then, bring a table, sample away. They're not going to care. They like that stuff in their grocery stores. Have you done
Yeah.
any of that, Andy? Or been
Oh
offering?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I always tell everybody on my coaching courses and stuff. It's like once you get into a grocery store, you're not going to be there to make those sales. So getting in and being handing out free samples is huge because then you're literally giving your stuff right to the people that they're in the store already.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, keep packs right on your table, and that way you can say, oh, you really like the broccoli? Here you go. And then they have a lot more chance of taking it from you and actually going all the way to the front and buying it than if they have to walk down an aisle and then you hope they grab it off of the shelf. So really try and be proactive, get it in their carts, obviously, and then that way they can actually make the purchase. But yeah, I mean, it's when I go to do sampling, they usually order at least 2 to 3 times what they would normally get that week because they know I'm going to sell everything on the shelf. So it's a huge bonus. And obviously, it just helps increase, more returning customers which obviously increases your recurring order. So it's definitely the way to go. If you get into a grocery store, do that as often as they'll let you.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. And the produce managers said, hey, hopefully they're coming back more. I said, hey, we can be here once a month if you'd like us to be. I think that's a good way to be, about once a month if you can get in there and sample and everything else. So we'll probably be doing that a lot. Adding new products to your line can always be a gamble, but it also can be an opportunity to diversify and capture a wider audience. Thinking about introducing grow kits for like home gardeners, edible flowers, or even lettuce to your product line. Each of these products come with their challenges, obviously, from products, marketing. However, it can also chance to reach new customers and give your regulars something exciting and new that they can get. Andy, I know you're not looking at doing edible flowers yet. Something you might want to get into, but I know you did offer grow kits. Are you still offering grow kits?
Yeah, we sell them just on our website. We ship them all over the place, pretty much in the United States for the most part, which has been really good. I mean, especially around Christmas time, we sell hundreds of them in the month of November and December. So we're getting ready to ramp up our advertising on that to the local area. Try and get that because unfortunately, Facebook doesn't let you do just like a national ad, which is so annoying. So we try and at least target the local area. But there's a lot of people that buy them in the local area that will ship them out, all over the country as well, or they'll just have them shipped directly to that person, which is good. So definitely makes our life easy. But yeah, we sell a ton of them this time of year, every single year. So yeah, it's definitely worth it. I mean, just buy all the supplies on Amazon, in bulk or whatever, and then put them all together, and it's not too hard. So just got to think about what you want to be in there, and obviously got to give them instructions, things like that. So we have instructions right on our website, which makes it really easy. So if I have to change them, I'll have to change them in one place.
Nice. Don't have to do a whole bunch of flyers or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, works out nice. But yeah, grow kits are great. I mean, it's not going to be like a huge money maker. It is for us this time of year, but that's it. The whole rest of the year, they're pretty slow. But we don't really push them, honestly. I mean, it's not really a big thing for us. We'd rather do the microgreens.
Just a little add-on money, which can help. Definitely can help. For us, we've recently added, obviously, you can check out our Instagrams and stuff and post in the Facebook group. We've added edible flowers. They're still in production, starting to get some blooms, though. That was yesterday. It's starting to really, really open up. I haven't taken a picture of that. That is our bicolor French marigold, looking beautiful. It's red and yellow, I believe. We also are growing lettuce now. This has really opened up some doors for us, getting that local food purchasing program to where they want lettuce during the off seasons that they can't get from traditional farmers. Vertical indoor farmer, they can get it from. So that's going to lead to a great source of income for us. So timing on that, again, we were just starting to build this, and then this program it came about, and they said they basically take all of it that we can grow. Just being ahead of the curve, like we talked about just a minute ago, just being the foresight of seeing stuff, being ahead of that curve is going to lead to a big expansion of money for us coming into the business. So expansion is great, but with that comes some financial sides as also. So let's talk about investments in technology, equipment, or even infrastructures. These decisions can be taken lightly at all. Every dollar spent should be stepped towards achieving your business goals. Cash flow is a big part of business, so you want to make sure you have that. A nice piece of equipment might speed up your production, but does it align with your current needs, your financial capability? Conducting through cost-benefit analysis, critical here. Got to do that. It's not just about spending money. It's about having investments for your business in the future. Andy, with expansion into your new space, you have a lot to consider in investments and new equipment for your farm. Have you done any of that yet?
Yeah, I mean we've talked to a couple different places about a commercial dishwasher, which I think is definitely where we need to be. As you can see, you can see two out of the four racks that are behind me that are
Yeah,
full of trays right now. So it's an all day event getting all that stuff washed. So it'd be a whole lot easier. Plus, I can give my full timers that job instead of having to make them wash dishes, which I try and avoid having them have to do,
yeah,
just because it's so time consuming. So I can give them extra hours by just having them run those things through the dishwasher and put them away. But obviously, like there's soil spreading machines that you can get. There's automated harvesting tools, machines that you can get. I mean, but if you're just starting out and you go decide, hey, I'm going to buy a $25,000 microgreen harvesting machine and a $8,000 soil spreader and start renting a $200 a month commercial dishwasher or whatever. I mean, you'd be crazy. You'd be out so much money up front. So but and obviously you got to get it to the point where the business is building enough to where it makes it worth your time. Because a commercial dishwasher, even right off the bat, it may sound like a great idea, but if it's $200 a month, you got to make at least that in time, not just
yes,
the time it's saving you. It's not a matter of like actual money you're making to cancel it out. It's the amount of time you're saving and how much you would be paying somebody to do that job. That's where it has to make sense. Even something like a soil spreader, they're about $6,500 to $8,000 to get a really good one.
yep,
And if it saves you, let's say, 30 seconds per tray, how long is that going to take before that's worth it? For you. I mean, if it's 5 years before it's going to pay for itself, there's a good chance that thing won't even be working in 5 years. So it's just some things to think about because obviously you got to maintain that. Where the
yep,
commercial dishwasher at least is maintained by somebody, but
yep,
yeah, it's just you got to think about it. Make sure there's money coming in enough to make it make sense, that's going to save you enough time to make it make sense.
yep,
But yeah, the microgreen harvesting machine, the big one, is definitely on our list eventually, but we're a long ways from getting to that point. We want to be at like probably 2 to 3 thousand trays a week before we even consider something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, same. Because we looked at that soil purchase. We've talked about this in the past, me and Andy. That
Yeah.
soil filling machine that fills your trays for you, and it's about $8,000 to get everything you need for microgreen growing. 8 to 9 thousand.
Yep.
Um, for us, we would need to quadruple our business to make it worth the while because we get all our planting done. In total, we plant the wheatgrass on Thursday, everything else pretty much on Friday, a few other things here and there. But it's only about 4 to 5 hours of planting time. Uh,
Yeah.
that would cut us down maybe to 3 hours. So it would take us 2 to 3 years before we get our money back at our current volume. If we
Yep.
quadruple and we got our money back in 6 months, now it makes sense. And
Yeah.
that's the way we do calculations if we're going to buy a new piece of equipment or something like that. But the dishwasher is immediate money back.
Yeah.
It's cut dishwashing down from 12 hours to 4 hours. So that's 8 hours every week that we're saving in labor that we were paying somebody. That's
Yeah.
huge. That's
Yeah.
that's money back right away, and it costs us about $100 a month. That's a no brainer. Like Andy said, they maintain it. We ain't got to even maintain that piece of equipment. They come
Yep.
in and check, make sure it's working, and everything else. So that was a no brainer. So that would be my recommendation for everybody if you're looking for something to speed yourself up, a dishwasher. Now, obviously, you still got to
Yeah.
spray the trays out. You can't just put them in there full of soil. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to clean it very well. You still got to spray them out, put them in there, but it still saves you a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky enough to have an absolute maniac of a dishwasher. I mean, she got all four of these racks done in
It's crazy.
2.5 hours,
Uh,
which is insane.
yeah,
Sanitized and all. It's just she's an absolute monster when she's
she's a
washing trays.
beast.
But for example, last Saturday she called out,
Mm,
and guess who had to wash the trays?
the guy standing
Me.
there.
Yep. Because my other dishwasher was also out of town visiting a college, and so me and my wife came in here. We knocked them all out, and it took us all freaking day. But having a commercial dishwasher would have been really nice that day.
Yep.
even
Uh,
even while you're waiting for the commercial dishwasher to run its cycle, you can get something small,
yep.
accomplished, whatever it is. You got a minute and a half or a minute or whatever. So
Yep.
you get other things done in that amount of time.
Yep. For sure. We recently have purchased a big piece of a system. Is our growing lettuce system. We've been filming that progress. It's going to definitely be a video that's coming up shooting as soon as we get it all figured out and everything else. But so make sure you check that out and having notifications on this channel. Subscribe to the channel so you can see that how we built our lettuce growing machine there, our whole area. It's from Crop King. I'll let you guys know that, but it's with modifications to make it work for lettuce. So it's not 100% just out of the box ready to go. So
Yeah.
because we manipulated it a little bit. So and speaking about videos that are coming out, our farm tour from our new location we're setting at right now has been out for members. So if you're a member, you could watch that already, our farm tour. And that goes out to the public on Tuesday this Tuesday at 2:30. So be ready to look at that. You can see how we are doing our farm tour and how we're growing everything in this warehouse space. So make sure you check that out.